Welcome to this thesis and dissertation podcast about using the automated table of contents and setting your headings in the template. I've got the College of Education template open and I'm working in the Mac version, as you can see. This is Word 2008, but most everything for Word 2010 should be in the same place, so we'll get started. I haven't really filled in the form, but that's really one of the less important parts of this process. The College of Education's template is set up with headings styled off of APA 6. If you're working with one of the other templates, you'll largely see APA 5 style headings being used. You set the headings by clicking in the line that the heading is typed on and selecting from the formatting palette here under the styles bar exactly which style you want, so we can format it to be heading 2 or heading 1 or heading 3, so on. We'll be using heading 1 for all the chapter titles, so chapter 1, chapter 2, so forth, and all the front matter and the references and your appendices. So abstract is styled in heading 1, acknowledgements is in heading 1, and here's where they appear on the table of contents. I've got this set. You can see that chapter 1 is followed by chapter 3, which means we've missed one. So I'm going to come down here and make sure that chapter 2 is set with a heading 1 style on it. It didn't really change the look, but now that this is highlighted, we know that it'll show up. So I'll come up, and what we're going to do with the table of contents visible is to right-click in the gray area and choose Update Field. We'll click that. It says that it will update the table of contents and to choose an option. Well, because we want more than page numbers to appear, we will choose Update the entire table, and we'll click OK. And Chapter 2's entry has appeared. And this also will keep your page numbers up to date as you go along. If you're not working in APA 5 or APA 6, for example, your advisor has told you that he wants you to work in a different style, or you're using a journal style, you can change the headings styles very quickly. And it's almost better to wait and do this at the very end, because this sample document has everything already marked. We can go ahead and change the style. So for example, if you're working with a template that's set up with bold centered headings and you want to set it up to be plain text, we'll click off of the bold here and say OK. And now here in the menu, heading 1 is in plain text, and here in the document it shows up in plain text. Now you'll notice that the table of contents one has stayed the same, and that is because if you use a heading style in the table of contents will end up as an entry in the listing, and you don't want that. It's part of TAD's requirements that you not. So this is the one that you will have to modify by hand. I'll go ahead and take that off there. If, for example, you want to go from APA 6 to APA 5, again, we'll come over to this little drop-down arrow and choose Modify Style. APA 5 requires that the headings be in all caps, and that's something that you can control under Font. So you'd still type the title exactly as you normally would, with upper and lowercase, but then you can just come down and choose All Caps. You can see the preview, and we'll say OK, and OK again. And so now all the heading styles are in all caps, and we didn't even have to retype them. And they'll still show up in upper and lowercase in the table of contents, which is a lot easier to read. So all of those headings have changed. Second level headings in APA 5 are not left aligned in bold. So we'll do this again just as an example. We'll drop down to modify the style, take off the bold, and it's actually centered. And we'll say OK. And so now all the heading 2 styles have changed. And this is a third level heading. We'll do it one more time. Modify style. And APA 5 has it centered and italic. There we go. And you don't need to update the table of contents for this part because they will, you haven't changed the actual content. Now, if you find while looking through here you've got something misspelled or you forgot to add something, you can come in What if we do what formats are in this document? We decide it's a little wordy. We've made a change down there, deleted it, and if we update it here, update field, again, the entire table. What formats are in this document? Please be aware that any misspellings in your headings will show up in the table of contents, and sometimes they don't really show up with the spell check guides, and some are actually, as some people know, grammar changes and spelling that actually aren't literally misspelled but maybe spelled to a different word, like a different there, don't show up in spell check. It's really good to take a good close look at your table of contents. So that is updating the table of contents, setting your headings, and modifying the heading styles to match the style that you plan to use. As always, if you have any questions, you can always go to our website, www.ohio.edu/TAD, and check out our formatting guides, or you can email us at tad@ohio.edu. I hope this has been helpful.